And welcome back to another episode of the Geek Centurions. It's me, your boy Eli.
It's me, Joe.
And we are in the penultimate episode of Miss Marvel. The second to last episode, and what I'm going to call the epitome of the problems that I have with most of these Marvel TV shows, and maybe just Disney Plus shows in general.
Yeah, because there is... I mean, granted, I think the episode...
Is fine.
For
the first half.
Yeah, but it's very apparent, like, once you finish watching this episode, that it's like, well, that's interesting. Because, alright, we'll get into, like, I guess the first half, because this is very distinct. First half, and then the second half.
Yeah.
Like, the second half is where, honestly, all the problems with this episode come from, because the first half is honestly what I expected it to be after where we last left off.
Mm-hmm.
The audience gets sort of like a, history rundown of like, hey, this is what partition is.
You even have that old-timey, recently the Japanese have entered the Okinawa, and like, you know,
it has
that World War II announcer kind of thing.
Yeah, because that happened in the 40s and 50s.
Yeah.
So yeah, it is a nice way to get that.
Like, have you ever seen Korra, whoever voice acts the narration?
Yeah, and that's very
Yeah.
evocative of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it gets the whole rundown, like, hey, it's a partition is happening, and the British have divided India into 3 separate places, and, it's causing a bunch of riots and stuff. Here's more on 9/11. So there's that, but we get also, it's basically our setup and backstory to Aisha, and pretty much what she was doing.
Yeah, and it just establishes, like, one, why she just chose not to help out the rest of the people.
Which is, I mean, fairly obvious.
Yeah.
She starts a family,
She finds love.
Yeah, like, she has, like, has a kid, daughter, Kamala's grandma.
Mm-hmm.
They have this whole thing. And obviously, there is a bit, like, some subtle stuff going on with, like, the dad being a Muslim and, not being, like, even though he was like, yeah, we have to band together, what Gandhi said. But there's clear, like, how come no one buys stuff from me anymore? Is it because I'm a Muslim?
Yeah, no, it's one of those things where we're not going to give that deep of a dive into it because, well, I wish we did, because that's just a really cool idea, but it's just enough to, like, understand the situation, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's just historical context to it. There's a reason why Pakistan, which was a part of India, is now fully Muslim, and there's a lot of political stuff going around with the Hindus and Muslims in India. Obviously, not the podcast to get into that.
No. We are not from that part of the world.
Yeah, and Marvel knew it as well as, like, all right, we can hint at this, but we're definitely not going to jump into it.
Well, not just that. It's just like, and this is what I mean in terms, and then we can go further into this as we go along, the idea of how short these shows are. Because you could clearly tell they wanted to do more with this. Right. Yeah. Because, like, just the talk of partition and the separations of these people of color and based on their religion and, like, and all that stuff. It's a very, like, interesting topic, and it's a topic that you would kind of see sometimes in Marvel comics, right? Like, they don't, sometimes in the comics they don't shy away from that. Matt Murdock is a devout Catholic.
Yeah, and obviously
he is a bad Catholic.
Yeah, and the Netflix show definitely delves into that aspect of his character of, like, I'm a Catholic, and yet I do all these terrible things. I feel very remorseful about it, but at the same time, I believe what I'm doing is right.
Mm-hmm.
Very classic sort of a struggle there.
Yeah, Catholic guilt.
Yeah, and and as you said, what's her name? Naja?
Yeah.
She shows up sort of like right before, like, they have to move and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, hey, Aisha, I found you. Let's go home. Where's the bangle? And it's like, I put the bangle somewhere different. It's going to take me some time to get it, though. Don't worry. I'm totally going to go get it.
Which I guess you can say is the explanation as to why she doesn't trust
Kamala.
But it's just, again, longer time. Again, we'll talk about it later.
Yeah, but it clearly sets up. Yeah, I don't want to.
Yeah,
Obviously,
I got a
because
family.
I have a family.
Look at my little girl.
I'm living a solid life. I understand you guys are kind of probably miffed about it, but like I made the best out of our situation.
Maybe you should too.
Yeah. So the whole train sequence happens. Is trying to get to the thing, and Naja sort of finds Aisha and just is like, "Where's the bangle?" And it's like, you listen, explaining what we were saying, like, I have a family, you guys gotta, like, let it go, and then she gets stabbed. And it's like, I'm gonna find the bangle.
No, that's exactly what he says. Like, I'm gonna find the bangle.
Yeah.
Where's the bangle?
And, yeah, so we learned that, yeah, Aisha was murdered. And, and that's, like, yeah, she's, like, Naja's very, like, I want the bangle, I want to go home. Mm-hmm. And that's where we cut back to where Kamala is. Because
somehow she was summoned?
Yeah, I'm guessing, like, through the power of the bangle, it brought Kamala back to essentially do a whole, not to create a time paradox, or, like, okay, so basically she's the reason why Kamala's grandma was able to get back to her father when she was lost.
She Back to the Future.
Yeah, she kind of Back to the Future did.
Yeah.
Like, she's the reason why that happened. Because the bangle brought her back, and Aisha was like, you gotta go, get, my daughter to the thing, and it's like, and, as Kamala's doing it, it's like, because they have a story like, oh, I walked through the stars or whatever to get back to my father, is what the grandma would say. And it's like, oh, I did that. I caused that. She has like
grandpa paradox.
Yeah, pretty much like not like I'm my own grandpa, but like, oh, I helped my own grandma.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Which, I mean, considering how it's, I don't know, like time travel is obviously weird, very weird in the Marvel universe.
It's either it doesn't have consequences. Remember?
Yeah, it doesn't really have consequences as explained in Infinity War, and then obviously, Endgame, and then obviously we have the TVA from Loki having to like trim like stuff from the Sacred Timeline. Although now that's all thrown out of the way to help set up, various things, and she sort of like comes back to present day, where I say a bulk of our problems with the show start to happen.
Oh no, they like there were so many goods, and then like I don't know what happened. I think the best thing to say compared to is like that. It's like it's bottom of the ninth, right? Bases are loaded. It's a guy who's always the home run hitter. He's getting ready to bat. They throw a fastball. He hits it. We're all expecting a home run from this dude, and then all of a sudden, it's a 3-out.
That's the third out. He just flies out.
Yeah.
I was expecting it to be more like, there's no outs, and then he just hits into a triple play, which is kind of funny because I don't think triple plays ever happen in baseball that lot because it's like it's very hard to do, but it's very funny. It's like
it's very funny how this happens.
Yeah,
everything is just solved.
Yeah, because Kamala gets back to you, but because of what happened, she basically they open a way to the other dimension
somehow.
Yeah, because of the contact that was made, in the last episode, causes a rift, and all the clandestine are like, "Yay, we can finally go home!" And one of them starts to like go there. And then she gets turned to stone, and then like crumples up in a skeleton and dies
in a very PG-13 horror.
Yeah, it's very PG-13, no blood whatsoever. It's still kind of like
it's horrifying.
It's still horrifying because this lady just goes, ugh, and then like turns to stone, and then as the stone crumbles, her bones are in there. Yeah. It's like that's kind of messed up, but there's no blood. Everything's fine.
Because that's how you get out of it.
Yeah, that's how you make this PG-13. And, it starts to, like, all this stuff starts to come out.
You know what's funny?
Yeah.
They turn to stone, And that's one of the things that happens to the Inhumans, you know, once they get in contact with the Terrigen Mist.
Yeah, but in this case, they don't. Yeah, because they turn to stone and then like they pop out like a cocoon, right?
Yeah.
But in this case, they pop out into bones because they're dead.
Because they're dead. They no longer live.
Yeah, and like Kamala's trying to get everybody out, but at the same time, now she's just sort of like standing there looking at it, and it's like Kamala's just starting like, "You gotta help me close this, man! Like it's gonna consume everything." And it's like he's like,
"Well, you're making it sound a lot more dramatic than it was."
A little bit, because it's just Kamala just yelling. It's like, "Please help me stop this," and she's just standing there, like, "Nah, I can make it through. I think I got this. I think I can go through." And then like Kamala's like trying to do a whole dramatic thing of like, "But what about Kamran? What about your son?
I left
him. Like like you killed my like Aisha. All she ever wanted was a family, and she had it. And you took it away from her. Are you gonna do that to Kamran?" And there's like a moment where I'm thinking she probably is.
I mean, she just left her son.
Yeah, she basically abandoned her son.
In a Supermax prison.
Yeah, pretty much. Yep. And it's like, she started like she thinks he can go through, but then like as soon as like Kamala's like, don't rob Kamran of his mother, and it's like she's like, all right, I have an idea. It'll probably work. And she's like, she goes through it. She obviously turns into like stone and dies, but it closes the rift, and then like some energy like shoots out, heads to Kamran, hits him, and then now he has powers too.
That's right. That's what happened. Because I was like, what happened? But I guess he did rob. They did rob him of his mother now.
Yeah. Well, I guess it's a weird like. Yeah. Okay. I love my son, but I also didn't like that he abandoned. That he didn't help me complete my mission. But at the same time, he is my son, and I do want him to live and not get destroyed by this world-ending event. So yeah, I guess I'll save him. That's the only reason why I'm gonna do this. But now that Kamran has powers, that's like. I mean, I guess it makes kind of sense because Kamala is half. Although I think like her blood is probably more diluted now.
Yeah. Don't know where to go with that. No.
Well, I mean, I know I phrased that weird, but what I mean to say is that like Kamala's probably like what 1/4 clandestine now.
Yeah.
While Kamran's definitely like full half. Because Kamala gets it from her great grandma.
Yeah.
And then Kamran gets it from his mom.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I meant. I know it sounded weird. I apologize for that.
No, that's fine. But it essentially, all happens in front of her mother and grandmother.
Yeah,
and they take it very chill.
Well, the grandma obviously is like, yeah, she's like literally as soon as like the mom finds out, like, yep, honey, we're all magical. It's like, yeah, it's the grandma's. That's obviously her reaction.
Yeah, because she knew this was happening.
Yeah, like, I could see the vision too, Kamala. That's why you had to come back to Pakistan.
Is that your accent now?
It was a bad accent. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Listen, she has a very distinct accent. And then the mother is like, wait, so you're the light girl? Like, she's like, yeah. And, they have, like, a bit of a bonding moment where all three of them have, like...
A very quick bonding moment.
Yeah, like, they're back at home. Because, during this whole first half, like, Kamala's mom was so, like, where is she? Where's Kamala? We have to find her. She's not answering her phone. But now they're here, like, they're reminiscing about old things. There's, like, Kamala sees her, like, mom and, like, when she was young and, like, rebellious. And it's like, that's weird for Kamala.
Yeah.
It's a nice bonding moment after what is
essentially... Yeah, no, that was a nice moment. I like that.
Yeah, but at the same time, like, it happens, like, after what essentially is a 5-minute wrap-up of, like, the biggest threat of the plot so far was, hey, the clandestine want the bangle to open the portal back to their home world, but if they do it, it will essentially destroy the Earth. Like, you think it's going to be, like, that's the setup for the final episode, like, it's coming out and, like, Kamala has to stop it. But here, it's wrapped up in, like, 5 minutes.
The issue with the mother is wrapped up in 5 minutes.
Yep, now it's like the mom's not even like, you know, like, I don't want you to be out there hearing anymore. She's like, you know, I've been a bit of a controlling Kamala, but you know what? You got this, you know?
I was like, wow, really? We're just gonna like slightly accept this? Like, I mean, some people might say like, oh yeah, but like Aunt May was like, yeah, but Aunt May took time to deal with it.
Yeah, especially because when you think about, you know, how that happened is that she finds out at the end of the movie, and you don't see like, you know, that she's fine with it until like the second movie at the start.
Yeah,
like you can assume that time has passed where she's like, okay, I guess I'm fine with this.
Also, I'm gonna use the fuck out of the fact that I know you're Spider-Man by helping out my
my you know,
my charity run stuff.
Yeah, like you know, she clearly like had to warm up to it, you know, off screen. Still,
yeah.
Here it's like straight up like, oh, you're the light girl, huh? I guess all that weird stuff makes sense. You know what? Good on you, honey.
Good on you.
Go be a superhero.
Go. I got nothing. Because it's so quick. It's been speaking of quick. Back in Jersey, right?
Yeah.
Bruno meets up with
Kamran. Because Kamran's like, hey, I got these powers now. And I need help.
Yeah, nice scene, by the way.
Yeah, because it's kind of like them kind of sort of finally bonding, and he's like, oh, wait, your name's Bruno? I thought it was Brian, bro. I'm like, legit.
That's the other way around. He thought his name was Brian, not Bruno.
Oh, right. But you know what I mean, though.
No, but you just proved the point.
Yeah. Oh my god, I'm sorry, Bruno. You look like a Brian. Like, who names their kid Bruno, and he doesn't look like either Bruno Mars or some other like weird looking guy. He just looks like a regular guy. That's probably why he thought he was Brian. It's like, you don't look like a Bruno.
Fair enough. But like, yeah, it's I like that scene because they're both like very awkward because like I don't really talk to you at all.
Yeah, it's like we only know Kamala. It's like one of those things where like if you're friends with two people but they're not really friends with each other, and then
try
like
to get them to talk, and it's like
you leave and then just them by themselves, and it's like, hey, hi,
hey Steve,
yeah, oh, Tesla, you like cars, and it's a picture of Nicholas Tesla, and it's like,
you dumb motherfucker.
Yeah, I think there's a reason why we don't hang out.
Yeah, you're a fucking nerd.
But yeah, you know, Bruno is like, yeah, I'll help you out. We can lay low, but obviously, damage control has those drones, and they're following Kamran. It's like, we gotta go, and then it like he tries to shoot it, and then like the drone gets hit, and it shoots a rocket, which blows up like the bodega, like the store below them. Which that's where the episode ends. Which I'm gonna assume, you know, that's like Kamala's on her way back. She's probably gonna figure out like, oh, this stuff is happening. Because I'm guessing now the real final plot, that's left is dealing with damage control, and the weird lady who was kind of like, it might be kind of racist. I mean,
depends on where you stand, man, I guess.
You know, she's just like,
she's barely on there to know.
She was like only there for like the first like 2 episodes, and then like just vanishes for the clandestine plot. But now that the clandestine plot has been wrapped up in a tight little bow,
you say tight like it's a nice little bow.
You know, it's they put a bow, and they just,
I would say they taped it up and just put the little already made bow on top of it.
Yeah, I guess that probably makes more sense. They took all those plot points, shoved it in the closet, and just taped it up so that it doesn't come back out. Unless, and this is just pure me speculating, Najee, by giving Kamran powers, allows him to open a portal and then resumes the whole portal open, world gets destroyed scenario, which I really hope that doesn't happen because that just sounds way too stupid.
He's gonna end up being a villain.
Like, potentially, maybe if he finds out that like Kamala is slightly responsible for his mom's death.
Well, like, you convinced my mother to die?
It's like,
I thought we were friends.
But it was to save you in the world. Why is every clandestine like this?
They're just a race of, I don't know.
I'm just like, they make so many bad assumptions about people.
So many bad assumptions.
You know what they say about assumptions, clandestines? It makes an ass out of you and me.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's sort of where the episode ends, and yeah, I think we've explained it clearly enough, or if we haven't already explained it enough, yeah, the second half really
Nosedives
in terms of like plot progression and like
writing.
It just like don't I like this show fair enough.
It's started so great.
I think, like I said, there's a clear like first half and then second half. Like the first half is very solid. It's about what I expected was gonna happen when we left off in the last episode. But I didn't fully expect like a full like backstory of like, oh yeah, this is where Aisha was. This is how she met, Kamala's grandfather. This is all that stuff. Like and then ultimately,
which was nice.
Yeah, it's nice to see that. It's nice to get to see all that work out. And yeah, it's a little weird that Kamala essentially does a whole Back to the Future moment with her, but it's done in a way where it's like it's not too weird.
No, it's not. It doesn't like break anything.
And I also feel like it's clear that like it seems more like it was a power of the bangle that brought her back in time and not her own free will. Because obviously once that happens, it's like she's brought back to present day. So thankfully, I'm hoping that like this doesn't happen any further. But like thankfully, her I guess time travel experience is very minimal, and it doesn't seem like she has the power to time travel. It's just the bangle caused like a weird like
wait till the Marvels.
Oh yeah, the movie. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. That's gonna be But yeah, it's very. But once we get back to present day, literally as that plot point gets right back up, like in 5 minutes, wraps up the biggest threat in this entire show, and to deal with like I guess the original threat that was supposed to be happening in the first 2 episodes, with damage control.
Yeah, no. So, like, if I were to say something positive, again, the idea of culture, and sort of having these moments to talk about, while not being so like in depth, just acknowledging that this is something that happened, this is a thing. You probably didn't watch the Gandhi movie, so we'll do our best to explain the reason for all that here, and. It's nice, and you see, like, understand, like, why... Well, not greatly, because you're still this... Well, actually, no, he does talk about Mahatma Gandhi and, like, what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
Which you can just go in and infer, but also acknowledge the fact that, this happened, this is a thing. And then from there, go on to... talk about that kind of stuff, but once we get to the like present day superhero stuff, that's when it starts to really like fall apart. It's like the fact that we had to wrap everything felt too nicely wrapped. There wasn't that much of a conflict to begin with. We talked about it before, but like the clandestine being like immediately bad, or like just the fact that they wanted to have a conversation with Kamala. The moment she's like, okay, I'm willing to do this, but there might be some bad. We have to like double check to make sure everything's gonna be okay. Like, okay, now we gotta kill you. We gotta kill you now.
It's like I want that bangle.
But why?
And it's like I guess this episode is supposed to kind of like the flashback is supposed to kind of like explain why the clandestine are very like just immediate like, all right, let's kill her then. Because of what Aisha did. But even Aisha, it seems like she kind of knew, like, it's not going to work. It's not going to, like, help us out. You're probably going to, like, destroy everything. And, like, Najee just, killed her just because she wasn't going to help her out. Like, it's just like, all right, that's a little, like, they feel like they're villains out of necessity, I feel.
Yes.
It feels like the plot didn't have enough of a like damage control wasn't enough of a big threat in the eyes of the writers, so they wanted to use the clandestines as a sort of superhuman level threat instead of just damage control and their like drones that they took from the Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Which I mean, I kind of get, but at the same time, like a part of me is like, if you're gonna wrap up that clandestine storyline within 5 minutes of like the penultimate episode, and still have damage control as like I guess the last thing to wrap up, it just feels kind of, I don't know, it just feels kind of weird because it feels like it
feels like it wasn't planned out as well as they wanted it to.
Yeah, because it feels like if you wanted to do like a 2-villain thing and have one of them wrap up like right before the final episode, you would do damage control.
Yeah,
you would have Kamala have a conversation with, hey, listen, all right, yes, I'm a superpowered individual, but I'm trying to be a hero, I'm trying to be a good guy, I'm trying to stop these guys, you know. They're the real threat. You know, we gotta like team up, and then maybe it'd be like all right, yeah, I guess we'll help out because
we'll let it slide for now.
We'll let your vigilanteism slide for now, but it does seem like this is the best outcome for all of us to join up against the clandestine, and then it's like but it feels like the exact opposite. Like, it feels like it should have been switched or reversed.
Yeah, and granted, you just came up with something out of your head.
That's like literally like out of my brain, but that makes way more sense for this type of story for me.
Yeah, and for me, it's like this is kind of again my big problem with the Marvel like Disney Plus shows is that they're written to be like a short series, like short limited series when. Clearly, it'd be better if you wrote them out as like a season, right? There's a reason why Loki kind of works as one of the best ones because it's a season, right? It ends in a way where you're like, oh shit, like where to now?
Yeah, and like I think Falcon and the Winter Soldier doesn't have that much of a problem because I think there
was so much stuff going on in that show.
Yeah,
but but they were able to wrap it up in a way that made sense.
It felt satisfying for the most part.
Like you could accept the journey that Falcon had to get to being Captain America.
Yeah, and WandaVision, it definitely obviously
that one worked as a limited series.
Yeah, I think it definitely worked there. You could argue that like the finale is a little bit rushed. But for me, yeah, I think it worked well enough. But yeah, but come on, Miss Marvel is just, that's a weird one. I mean, Moon Knight, I think definitely,
that's getting a second season.
Like, it definitely seems like it will. Especially because of where it ends. And it felt like disconnected enough from all the other Marvel properties. That you were kind of fine with it being like kind of this short. Yeah, like it's not gonna like relate to anything else. But you felt like a nice little detour, right? Yeah. But yeah, I think that is sort of an issue with like the Marvel stuff, and I think with on Disney Plus is that it does have weird pacing issues sometimes. Like sometimes it will work out, on its own. Other times, like I guess with Marvel currently, it's like. What?
Yeah, no, I feel like if this is like just like a normal seasonal episode, maybe not like long, like 20 or something episodes, but maybe like 13, maybe 14 episodes.
Yeah, I feel like, I honestly feel like the show could have gone for longer because it's 6? Yeah. I honestly feel like it could have gone for like maybe 8, 9. Yeah. Just to like flesh out things more, especially because I feel like, I don't know, I feel like it would probably be more interesting to see Kamala actually try to do more, like, vigilante superhero stuff. Yeah. Because we only get to see her do that, like, twice. One is at the Avenger Con, and the other is at the mosque, And, like, I guess she kind of does a bit of that during the wedding stuff. But, like, it'd be nice to have, like, see her have, like, a moment like what happens in the first Spider-Man movie. The MCU Spider-Man, where like it's just a montage of Peter going out, being a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, helping random people out. It would have been kind of nice to maybe have like seeing her like attempt to be like a vigilante, superhero of like just helping people out, maybe getting into a bit of trouble, and that's how like damage control gets a little bit like, okay, the AvengerCon thing, that was weird. But now we see her trying to, save a kid at the mosque, and that she's trying to stop bike robbers. It's like, all right, this is a little. We need to get on this case.
Mm.
But yeah, I don't know. I think it also would help in terms of building up the clandestine as an actual threat, because that's their biggest issue, is that they happen way too fast to be villains, and for the most part they seem kind of nice, but then as soon as Kamala's like, I'm having second thoughts about this, let's try to figure out a better way to get you guys home, it's like, nope, the bangle's the only way. If you're not gonna give us the bangle, you're gonna die.
Yeah.
And all your friends are gonna die. And it's like, why would you go that far?
why did you suddenly flipped? Which, let's be honest, the clandestine thing is the weakest part of this show, and now we're going to damage control, which I might argue was probably, I feel like, would have been the best villain story for this season.
Yeah, like, it seems like the clandestine were definitely set up to be like twist villains of like, oh, they seemed nice, but plot twist, they're actually bad guys. And that's why I feel like I made up, like, it could have just been damage control trying to get to Kamala, being like, she's too dangerous, she's being a vigilante, she's dangerous. And then it's like, oops, the clandestine are the real bad guys, and now we gotta work together, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because I feel like, because damage control usually isn't like very like villainous. They're kind of just like in the comics, I'm pretty sure they're literally just a group that just cleans up all the shit that happens after big superhero fights. So it'd be kind of funny if they're just very annoyed. Like, that's it, we're done with this. All right, you guys got to stop doing superhero stuff because we're tired of like having to clean up your mess. And this is getting annoying. Would have been kind of a neat dynamic or whatever in this show. But yeah, it's very. I think damage control should have taken. Felt like damage control should have been like front and center, especially how it was being set up within those like first 2-3 episodes. Of like, we don't trust this new superpowered individual hanging around. We gotta like check in on this.
Yeah.
And then that plot point gets dropped as soon as the clandestine, become evil. So yeah, this whole episode definitely gets a little.
If this episode is the epitome of like the problems that most Marvel shows have, the pacing, the lack of development for some characters, and the idea that we can just get by for a limited series. And here's the thing: do I think this show is terrible? No. I think it's still a really solid show. It started off fantastic though, but the cracks are showing, and we need to find a way to fix these cracks. I think by giving shows that are more or less made to be shows more room to breathe, I think they turn out a lot better. Because honestly, the moments where, there is a hint of a good show at the beginning of all this. The first 3 episodes are evidence of that, right? And then like 4 and 5 are kind of in the weaker side, especially this one right now. How do you wrap it up in a 6th episode? I think that's going to be the big thing, right? How are you going to wrap this all up?
Yeah, I definitely think that is like the problem, because sometimes when they try to do the 6th episode like format, it feels just like an extended like movie in a way.
Yeah.
Where some stuff gets fleshed out, but other stuff doesn't. Like, that's why I feel like an 8, 9, because I'm pretty sure Loki was like 9 episodes, wasn't it?
I want to say it was less than that. It didn't feel that long. I'll double check. But continue.
Yeah, because like I feel like, because I get Moon Knight being as short as it was, because Moon Knight is just kind of a weird character.
6.
It was 6 too. Okay, then that just it just feels weird to me that like Loki was able to like pull off a solid pacing And I think it is just because they probably were like, okay, we're gonna get a season 2 out of this, which I think I find kind of weird in my own brain. So what is Miss Marvel just not gonna get a season 2? Was that the plan? Like, were they gonna wait till like these 6 episodes come out and then it's like, all right, it did well enough, we'll give it a season 2? Because I feel like, I mean, granted, that's not like a terrible way to do like TV shows, because I think that happens with a lot of different TV shows where
they give it a limited number and to see how well it does.
Yeah, like generally, I think it's very rare for like shows to like premiere, like have their first episode and then be like, oh yeah, we're getting a season 2. Because I mean, I don't want to bring this up, but I mean, Halo is getting a season 2, and I'm pretty sure that happened like right before the first episode came out.
Oh, they announced, yeah, they gave it like I think 2 more seasons.
No, I think it was definitely one more season, like a second season.
Yeah,
which I remember being like, that's pretty bold considering how the show isn't out yet, and we don't know what
And we both saw the show when it came out.
And we both saw the show, and it's like, boy, they better be working hard on that season 2 if they want people back, because. Ooh. Oh boy, that was a journey. That was not the great journey I was expecting.
that was the mid journey.
That was a very mid journey.
There were no rings. There were no. Well, I remember people. To be fair, I remember people being like, "Okay, when are we gonna get to the Halo rings?" I'm like, "No, we gotta build that shit up, dude. You don't understand. Like, there's a lot of lore."
Yep, and that show. Boy, does it
go free range?
Doesn't go free range, but it definitely takes a lot.
It goes free range because it does whatever the fuck it does.
Yeah, and it's like we'll get into some other time probably. But yeah. Boy, that show. Anyways, I feel like it's just weird how Miss Marvel isn't handling its storyline that well, because I agree, it started off pretty strong, I think.
Yeah, it has a lot of good things on it, but it just wasn't able to nail the parts that it needed.
Remember how it was like, I really hope this doesn't turn into like a teen drama, like Disney Channel like thing, but with superheroes. And I didn't get that, but what I instead got was like a very weirdly paced like origin movie for Miss Marvel.
It's that monkey's paw, buddy.
Yep, that's the monkey's paw. I pulled it. I'm sorry, guys. I should have asked for a teen drama. It probably would have had more consistent writing.
No, I don't want to see the laugh tracks.
Yeah, it's like, oh boy.
But yeah, I think that's about the end of it. I do still think it's a good show, but the cracks are showing.
Yeah, like I think by the end of the last episode, I'm gonna be like, it's either gonna like that last episode is gonna determine how I feel truly about the show.
Well, guys, I think that's the end of the episode. If you enjoyed what you heard, be sure to follow us on all social medias: Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. We are most active on Instagram at the Geek Centurions, and when you go on the Instagram, you will find a link tree to all the podcast sites we're officially part of, like Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Pandora, all that good stuff, as well as a link to the YouTube for all you other listeners out there who want to put a face to the voice. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe on YouTube, and we have a Patreon for support in any form of way. And yeah, guys, that's it. Miss Marvel. Hopefully it does get better. Hopefully the last episode will tie everything nicely. We will be coming back with that, as well as hopefully Thor.
Yeah, the new Thor movie comes out by the time of this recording within the week.
Yeah.
It probably is already out by the time this episode comes out.
Yeah.
But yeah, we were definitely gonna get on that because I'm gonna be honest, I'm kind of hyped for that movie.
You know, I got a 70 on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, but then IMDb has it like a 10 out of 10.
Well, I did hear they did double down on the Taika stuff, so you might enjoy it a lot more because you like Taika.
I like Korg. Hi, my name's Korg. I'm made of rocks. You don't have to be afraid unless you're made of scissors.
Yeah. Anyways, guys, it's been a good one. It's been me, your boy Eli.
It's been me, Joe.
You guys have a good one. Peace.